Soroti City. I'm a stakeholder. Yes, I'm a stakeholder. There is no slang. That's why when during campaign of attack. No, because it was.
Hello, and I'm good. Happy New Year.
Honorable members, Mr. Speaker.
Prayers.
Almighty God, who in your infinite wisdom and providential goodness have appointed the office of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of humanity, beseech you to look upon with the abundant favor of these servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of such important trusts in this land. Let your blessings descend upon them here assembled, and grant that they may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under their deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your own glory, and to advance the good of those whose interests you have committed to their charge.
Amen.
Amen.
Item 2 on the other paper, communication from the chair.
Colleagues, I welcome you to today's sitting. Happy New Year. I'm glad to see that we are still alive within this new year. But once again, on a very, very sad note, we lost the former district woman representative for Nakasongora, Honorable Margaret Komhanji, who passed away last week in India. She represented Nakasongora in the 9th and 10th Parliament. Her burial is today, and I want to thank the honorable colleagues who have managed to go to support us. And I got a report yesterday when we were at church that over 200 members at least managed to go to her home to pay their respect, and also at church. So that sign of solidarity, honorable colleagues, is very critical. We always stand by each other. Parliament, we are a family. Whether you're a former MP, whether you're a current MP, you'll always be part of the family. So standing by each other is very critical. We also lost the former member of Parliament for Buyaga County, Honorable Ignatius Besisra, who represented the people of Buyaga in the 7th and 9th Parliament. He has currently been serving as a member of the local government finance commission. He was buried on Saturday, and government granted him an official burial. So we shall be expecting the leader of government business to table a motion to pay respect. Of course, the same for Honorable Babadiri. Margaret Babadiri also was granted an official burial. And today, again on a sad note, today morning, Honorable colleagues, Honorable Pauline Chaka, woman MP Diantonde, has lost her mother, Mrs. Leonarda Chaka. You remember it's just a few weeks ago when she lost her father. It's been a double tragedy. I happened to go to her home around 2 or 3 months ago to see her sick parents. And the two really were extremely close. So when the father died, the mother kept saying, "Release me, I also go to find my beloved." I don't know how many of us would qualify for that. The day we die and our spouses are saying, "I want to follow," and not say, So I managed to go to the hospital, Mengo, early morning. I checked on her at Mengo Hospital early morning, and she was thankful for the prayers and support, honorable colleagues, you've always given her. There will be a vigil at her home in Kira today, starting at 6:30 p.m. And burial will be Thursday, 23rd January at Kachenche, Chiruhura district. I request that we observe a minute of silence for our foreign comrades.
May their souls rest in eternal peace.
Honorable colleagues, we've started a political year, a year of campaigns. And yet our mandate still runs. We still have statutory obligations. We have obligations to our constituents. So this is a year where we wish you all the best, because our prayer is to see each one of us back. That's what we pray for. Though I've had situations, I've had a few cases where colleagues have been coming saying, so and so is in my constituency disturbing me, a colleague disturbing a colleague, campaigning for other colleagues in the constituency. Some of them used names, especially colleagues. If you have friends, your name will be associated with many cases. So and so is standing against me, you're the one funding. It will be coming. So, but I request that we maintain cohesion. I request that when we go, it's our policy here. It's an unwritten policy that when you go to a colleague's constituency, you support that colleague. It's an unwritten policy. And then you leave it to the voters. If you can't support, don't talk about a colleague. Just leave it at that. But for harmony purposes. Because after when we come here, we are family. So, we are going to design our program in such a way as the leadership of the House that we give you time to be able to engage the constituencies. While at the same time, you're able to do your work. A very good example, when we have, like in the budgeting period, we shall be giving you enough time to handle under committees, but then we give you a break, shall be giving you intermittent breaks so that you're able to go back and engage your constituents. Otherwise, you might be here when they are finishing you on ground, and people want to remember that. But we shall ensure that we try to accommodate most of these issues without us missing our critical function that we are supposed to be doing here. Well, there is a comment I wanted to make when we are receiving the Auditor General's report, but I better say it now. Honourable colleagues, I received the Auditor General's report last week. And what I'm happy with is that the meeting we had with the Auditor General has now helped us and widened the scope of what we can cover when we are interrogating the report. We agreed together with the few chairpersons who managed to join me in a meeting with the Auditor General some time back, that doing only financial audit won't help us and won't enable us do our work efficiently. Because that's why you could hear that I have an unqualified opinion. But then the report and the details from the public, totally different. There was always a mismatch between the opinions of the Auditor General and what we are getting. So now we agreed that the Auditor General should do a combined report that has a value for money audit, that has a special audit, so that is one report, and we are able to go beyond just financial audits, but it also go for value for money. Now, he has done that everywhere, and I hope this time the scope of the accountability committees will be much wider and more detailed, so that we don't just look at mischarge and all that, but we also go especially on value for money. If you said you did 1 kilometer per kilometer lane at 1 billion in Masaka, how come in the neighboring district of Diantonde is doing it? If you're charging 1 billion, how come they are doing it at 500 million? Same landscape, same conditions, But this side, you're not getting value. This side, you're getting value. So accountability committees, I hope you're going to now squeeze in much deeper. But what was worrying, honorable colleagues, only 31% of the recommendations, according to the Auditor General, he says only 31% of the recommendations from Parliament, when we were adopting the report, were fully implemented in the last financial year. 35% were partially implemented, and 34% were not implemented at all. Now, this brings us to how we handle the issue of the Treasury Memoranda, which we had a discussion around here and agreed. The Treasury Memoranda, which was attached, I will request chairpersons of sector committees, when you're processing ministerial policy statements and the budget, please let the accounting officers explain why they did not implement recommendations of the accounting of the Auditor General. Otherwise, these are recommendations from government official who is supposed to be looking at these books. Why should we add you money when you fail to address the issues of accountability which were found in? So now at sector committee level is where we can use our power to bite and squeeze the accounting officers to ensure that indeed we have full implementation of the recommendations of the Auditor General as adopted by the Parliament. Matters of national importance. Alop on my communication. I will allow 3 people on my communication, then we go to matters of national importance.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, in your communication, you have mentioned that this is an election year. And rightly so, because the election is a process. It's not an event, as some people like to think of it, the day of casting the ballot. It's a process which happens beginning with the update of the voters' register, all the way to all the other activities, nominations, campaigns, etc., and then eventually voting. Right Honourable Speaker, yesterday, update of the voters' register commenced, but with numerous challenges with this very critical exercise, because this is an exercise that is meant to see new voters coming on board, people trying to be sure their details are on the voters' register, those that want to make transfers, and so on and so forth. In many places, and I'm sure some colleagues here can attest, many places the process did not commence yesterday. And we are trying to understand why. Did this just fall on the Electoral Commission and they woke up and realized they need to start this process? Their officials were not in many places, including my constituency, many parts of my constituency, which is just a few kilometers from Kampala. I'm now thinking about colleagues who come from far-flung places. Honourable Speaker, there has not been adequate awareness about this process by the Electoral Commission. Yesterday, I was dumbfounded to watch on the news. A number of missions is meant to do this in tandem with these local officials. In a couple of places, you find they have 1 computer per sub-county. And many of these computers are even faulty. They are not working as should be. Honourable Speaker, I like to think this is a very critical part of the election process. Because like I've said, the election is a process. Would like government to help us understand, are they taking this process seriously? Now that it did not even commence in time as should have, will they extend the time? Because we were actually concerned, thinking the 30 days are not even adequate. Now, it did not even start in time. 20 days, I beg your pardon. The 20 days, in our view, were not adequate, but now the process did not even start in time. Will the time be extended? But the other concern that I do have, Right Honourable Speaker, the process has been made extremely cumbersome, especially for the new voters. They have to get recommendation from GISO, DISO, HISO, FISO, I don't know what. It would make sense for the LC1 chairpersons. That's okay, that's understandable. They need to know the people in their areas and so on. But why all these layers? Somebody has got a national ID. They are known by their LC1 chairpersons. Why do they have to go and look for a GSO, then look for a DSO? They'll go to their home or their office, the place is locked, and all of this making the process problematic. Honorable Speaker, I would like government to address these issues and to help us understand. Can the process be made a little bit longer and better awareness? Thank you.
Thank you. Now, honorable colleagues, today I received 6 members. The first.
Thank you very much.
But you want to give you a half breakdown? So, but please, honorable colleagues, let us have a statement from government tomorrow. Is it late, Attorney General?
Right, Honorable, I need to get in touch with the Electoral Commission so that I can get a
tomorrow
response.
Parliament starts at 2.
But
no,
Right on that now covers the financial and also value for money audit. However, Right Honorable Speaker, I have an issue. Currently, the sectoral committees are sitting, and therefore the standing committee's business has been suspended. Papers and even the ministerial policy statements. And then you have just hardly 2 months. Right Honorable Speaker, I have raised this before. The Constitution says the Auditor General's reports will be considered by this Parliament, debated, and appropriate action taken. Now, you find that I have said this. It is wrong for us to adopt Auditor General's reports without scrutiny, because you have even mentioned it, that what is in the report is sometimes not what is on the ground. Therefore, they hope that as presiding officers, you will guide us and give us time to handle these reports.
Thank you. Now, honorable colleagues, one, indeed we needed you, all of you, to be in your sector committees handling the BFP. Okay? And I think you've more or less, committees have more or less concluded with the BFP. Otherwise, we would be having a situation where we don't even have space, sitting space where to meet, and even quorum, because you find we are in the budgeting process, but a member is running on accountability question, okay? And so we said, no, first concentrate on the BFP. You have concluded. Next week, either Thursday or next week, we shall conclude it. But now the budget committee has already started receiving committee reports for the BFP. Now, on the issue of time, I think it is something we shall go back and we discuss administratively. But let me first allow Honorable Semuju, if he wanted to guide on the same.
No, Mr. Speaker, I wanted to provide some information.
Yeah.
The mistake we have been making is to treat the Auditor General's report as raw material. Yeah. And I have visited, because I chaired an accountability committee before. The report of the Auditor General is adopted as it comes. And then the committee is requested to do further investigation in specific areas. I want to ask you, Mr. Speaker, for Parliament to adopt a similar approach, so that you don't use the report of the auditor, a lot of work done by technical people, sometimes even hires private firms, and then you use it as raw material. In other countries, they just adopt and then request to do investigations in specific areas, and then they can do them forever. That's the information, Mr. Speaker, I wanted to give.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Colleagues, I don't want us to start a debate here. We usually improve on such a processes by having meetings with committees of chairpersons. And also we can discuss it in the business committee meeting in terms of strategy. We come up together with a strategy. That is acceptable. But most importantly, Honorable Sarah, the argument was, like Honorable Semuju has said, government will not start taking actions on the recommendations of the Auditor General before you adopt. So now, if you wait for 4 years, 3 years, 5 years, how will you process a treasury memoranda which is an action taken report. So now, I think it is operational. You can, out of committee, make subcommittees. You share, and you say this side you get projects, this side you get these categories of MDAs and all that, and in the end you adopt as a committee. You come here, we debate. But that one we shall be calling a meeting so that we agree on a strategy that can help us work as a team. Yes, finally, Honorable Babiku.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. I would like to comment on one issue that you commented about, the issue of this voices. But we need to be empowered to account to our people in relation to key issues we raised on the floor of Parliament. Right Honourable Speaker, as people from West Nile, we have the issue of the non-compensation of our people as a result of the LRA war, the non-expansion of a Jumani hospital and others. If we don't have these responses, whether in affirmative or not, it makes it very difficult for us to account to our people. So my prayer is, let government respond to the issues that members have raised so that we have a package to share with our people. Thank you so much.
On land compensation, I remember Attorney General we were working out something. Do you have any update?
Thank you, Right Honourable. I appreciate the concern raised by my sister, Honourable Babiku. Right Honourable Speaker, originally the government committed itself to do compensation in 3 sub-regions, Acholi, Lango and Teso. When the exercise started, there was pressure from other sub-regions. West Nile, Bugisu, Bukedi, Busoga, and parts of Rwenzori which were hit by the ADF. This matter was presented to Cabinet, and a decision was taken that we wait, we must see how the other areas are being compensated, because we would be overwhelmed and the government may not be able to appropriately carry that burden. So the idea was that we first do substantial work on the 3 sub-regions, then we would seek guidance from Cabinet and be directed.
Thank you. Honorable colleagues, you have power to empower yourself through budgeting process and sector committees. When you are processing municipal policy statements, and this is where we have to be assertive and we raise these issues. And I'm sure Government Chief Whip has also taken note. It's in a wide perspective, Honorable. Huh? Yes, Honorable Ababiku. Clarification? Also clarification. Let me start with the one who has raided the microphone without my permission. So he has not spoken.
I do not switch on, Right Honorable. Right Honorable, when we had a sitting in Gulu, we had a report from the Government Assurance and Implementation Committee on the compensation. That report was read and it was not adopted. We are waiting for that opportunity so that the Parliament will fully debate that report and we come up with a resolution. And in that report, the issues of West Nile, they are included.
Thank you.
The other parts of the country, they are waiting for our report and that resolution. Right, Honorable Speaker.
Clerk, put it on order paper for tomorrow. We have it sorted. Honorable Angura, then Honorable Basarira.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, you've rightly said that we are processing the budget. We have started with the BFP. Very soon we shall go to the ministerial policy statements, and that is where we should be assertive. That is a very good statement. But remember, Right Honorable Speaker, now we are looking at the plans which have come through the BFP. When you look at the column of the unfunded priorities, which will still be translated into the ministerial policy statement, and finally the budget we shall pass, many of the needs that these constituents of yours here, the members here, are focusing on it to achieve as a way of benefit as they return, are in the unfunded priorities. And that will continue up to the...
Honorable Rule 80 does not allow me to allow such a debate on anticipation. Please, let's just... You can submit without referring to what is in the report of the BFP and all that.
I thank you very much. So I want to request, and the Chief Whip is here. The Minister of Finance is not here. I want to request that when we come to that conclusive situation of approving the figures that we shall supply here, let those figures be honored.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, honorable colleagues, we shall give you enough time to scrutinize the budget. Okay? We shall give you enough time, you will scrutinize deeply. I had allowed Honorable Wasarira.
On the issue of compensation, the Ministry for Justice appeared before our committee, legal and parliamentary. And as the learned Attorney General said, actually the focus now is on 3 areas, places, Acholi, Lango and Teso. And they did request, I think it is 100 billion for that process. So as a matter of fact, West Nile is not there. That's from Cabinet. And even us from other areas like Busoga, where Lakwena terrorized us, are not there. So Right Honourable Speaker, as a matter of fact, the focus remains very limited to those areas. And from the budget framework paper of the Ministry of Justice, that is very clear. That's the clarification Right Honourable Speaker I wanted to give.
Let's handle anything to do with RAND. We are discussing that issue tomorrow. Okay? Honorable Wanika guided us very well. When we are debating the report, then you'll make the submission. No, so is it on the same?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, thank you very much.
Is it on the same?
From your communication, and it has become my common practice to remind the Minister of Education that you, as you said, you are going for campaigns. Our children should not stay behind. I'm getting numerous calls as a shadow minister from a number of schools. They are not getting capitation grant. Yet that time is starting on the 3rd. And this is a very big problem for our children. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, a number of schools are advertising getting senior 1 students when the period is not yet out. And the Minister of Education is comfortably seated listening. So how are these children joining senior 1 when the results for period are not yet out?
Thank you.
But above all, Mr. Speaker, let us see, help Minister of Education. This money is very little, and the teachers must be at school by now, preparing for the beginning of the term as private schools all our children are studying from. The biggest population of our children in Uganda are in UPE schools and USE. And Mr. Speaker, Minister of Education is taking attention. A number of USE schools now have developed a system of opening up boarding sections.
Yes.
Thank you, Honorable Peter Gwang, Minister.
Information I had there.
No, he was already off. No,
Mr. Speaker.
Please, Honorable, please, when you see me seated here, never switch on a microphone without my permission. Yeah, because we have to stop somewhere when we are conducting business here. Honorable Minister?
No. First of all, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, Happy New Year. On behalf of the Minister of Education and Sports, I want to thank my colleague, the Shadow Minister for Education and Sports, for the questions he has asked, and I want to reply him as follows. We will be officially releasing the primary living examination on Thursday. Today is Tuesday, tomorrow is Wednesday, Thursday. So, honorable colleagues and the entire country should be informed of that. Number 2, in line with the question my colleague has raised regarding the issue of capitation grant. I want to say the following. Right Honourable Speaker, permit me to bring the written statement on Thursday to answer on the capitation grant in as far as whether it has been released by Minister of Finance or not, because once they release...
No, Honourable Minister, you're going to burden yourself for nothing. You're going to croak the order paper. You can have a minute, you call your PS from outside, you confirm, and so that I save you a burden of coming to debate here for an hour.
Most obliged, Right Honourable Speaker.
Yes. So whenever you're ready, make a sign to me. I will. But you see, Honourable Seungo, number one, okay, when you are submitting on your issue, you refer to my communication. I never communicated anything regarding education. Huh? And I kept quiet. Number two, you again want to come back on the same. So, okay.
Mr. Speaker, I hid under the new year and the campaigns coming in interest of the children. But Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the Minister of Education for his response. And I always talk from an informed point of view. But there is something very serious we must address as a parliament. USE schools are having their students because parents cannot afford fees. And the culture is growing the number of rural schools where schools are opening up boarding sections, charging parents fees. And it is challenging parents. And the Minister of Education has not come out with a proper statement on who are supposed to attend the boarding section. As I'm talking now, parents are paying over 700,000 in USE schools. And the government is paying 60,000 or 80,000 per student in USE schools. And it has become business. All this we must address it because students are running out of school. If you don't have boarding fee for senior 4, senior 3, you can't attend, and they are pulling out of school. All that must be addressed by the minister as he looks for his statement that might not be very true from what I know. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Yes, Honourable Minister, any good news for us?
I want to confirm that the capitation grant will be to all schools in the country by Monday next week.
Thank you. Thank you. Honourable Nsababuturo.
Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, the Committee on East African Community Affairs was tasked to look at, to examine basically the East African Community Mediation Agreement Bill, Mr. Speaker. We've been proceeding well, but we need a bit more time to be able to conclusively put the matter to the end.
How much time do you need? I know you've lost time handling the BFP.
Mr. Speaker, 30 days would be sufficient. 21
days. Okay? Can do? Very good. 21 days, Honourable colleagues. I think that's fair. Honourable colleagues, on a sad note, I've also received information that Honourable Frederick Gumengobi, MP Bramoji North West, lost his mother yesterday. It's very important that indeed we observe a minute of silence like we did for the
May her soul rest in eternal peace.
Now, I've seen next time when I'm reading, I will start with the one who died. Because I saw some people being shaken right away. But whoever we rose is a valuable life. Honourable Semuju, matters of national importance.
I want to thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I raise here to register and in the way Dr. Kizza Besigye is being treated in Luzira. We have visited him. At least those of us who belong to the same side with him, we have talked to him, taken food. Now that right has been taken away by the prisons authority. But also when you visit him, last time I was there with the Honorable Mwinjuche, Honorable Kamara, they have now put a grass, so he stands behind some grass and there is a microphone. You can't even be sure that you are speaking to him. We don't know why these conditions, because Dr. Besigye is the most imprisoned person under this government. This is the first time that he is being treated like this. What is worrying us, Mr. Speaker, even more, when you deny people food of their choice, because food is also medicine. We have had colleagues who leave Ruzira, including Besigye's brother, and as soon as they leave, they die. Dr. Chiguna and others. We don't know whether it is deliberate that when Dr. Besigye, if he ever leaves, he leaves when his life has been really affected. More worrying, the CDF, General Moses Kainerugaba, announced that Dr. Besigye will be hanged. Mr. Speaker, I did not take the statements of General Moses seriously, but now I do. Why? He said they will go and attack Kenya, they will be in Nairobi. Actually, I thought it was a joke. But Dr. Besigye was kidnapped from Nairobi. We had some other colleagues, 36 kidnapped from Kisumu. For me, I don't need any further evidence that actually they attacked Nairobi and took it over long ago. When the other day he called General Erueru a buffoon, I kept asking myself, did he ever do something buffoonery for General Moses to begin calling him a buffoon? And for UPDF officers who are here, you must be very careful with what you do. I kept asking, what has he done? My memory took me to Kasese, where he commanded the attack on Rubiri. And I said, is that what Muhoozi was referring to as buffoonery? So I am using that as an illustration to say I take his statements because our colleague needs protection. He said his New Year resolution includes arresting General Erueru. I am happy General Erueru is here, he hasn't yet been arrested.
Thank you. Honourable Minister for Internal Affairs.
Right, Honourable Speaker, I'm not a clown. But I want to respond to the Honourable Semuju's concerns, especially food, which is a basic right, and I want to say that the family of Dr. Besigye how to bring food. We can't extend beyond that one for security reasons. Number two,
Thank you. Honourable Maneno Zumra.
This speaking behind the grass is a new thing. Maybe you and behind the grass is General Moses. Maybe you live in heaven.
General, is it a new practice? Is it a new? Amrak, I haven't been to Ruzira, so I can't speak from
Right, Honourable Speaker, what I want to bring out is that it's not targeting Dr. Besigye. It's not discriminating against him. It applies to all the inmates.
So now that's a practice. Yeah, so honorable colleagues, the people in charge of prisons, if they have a way for all prisoners, now here, what should I do on the fraud? No. No, I really, colleagues, please. I avoid a situation where we just continue on something rotating. Now, the person, if the also it's a matter we should come and handle. But for now, This is not a matter you can resolve on this floor. Okay? Honourable Minister's submission has been very clear, and I don't think I can go beyond that. Honourable Zumra.
Yeah, thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I rise on matter of national defense concerning hippopotamus that has been attacking people of Obongi and destroying crops of the community in Obongi. Last year in October, a hippopotamus attacked a man called Sunday Dodo in Yakinemiji Ward in Kenya village. The gentleman was in his field harvesting his crops, and the hippo came out of the river to come and attack him and broke his leg. And the man was hospitalized in Moyo General Hospital for 1 month, and up to now he's still going under treatment. This year, on 17th of January, a man Modesta Alpha Sub-County Timar East Village, Iwafa Paris, was again attacked a hippo that water and attacked him at the landing site